So welcome to a very rainy Reading in Berkshire, which is about 30 miles from London. And I'm with him again, he's back.
Here I am, this time in my hometown.
In his hometown of Reading, and we're going to do the Q&A from the Grosvenor Casino, assuming they let us film, of course, in downtown Reading. So here we are then with the Q&A. Colin's got the questions on his iPad. So go ahead, Col. First one.
So first question is from Alex Rhodes. Do you get static shocks in Vegas? I was scared to open the door by the end of my trip.
Actually, that's funny enough. I did, and yeah, this I mentioned it to you, didn't I, a few times? I don't normally get it, but this time, absolutely 100%. It was crazy, but I don't know whether it's a Vegas thing or the shoes I was wearing or what. But anyway, yes, I did.
I got a carpet burn on my knee from doing my yoga in the room with the nylon carpets, but no static shocks.
That's another story.
Yeah, it is another story. So also from Alex Rhodes, why January and August? August, Matt.
Well, August is always the main 2 weeks with Suzanne because her daughter goes away with her dad during those 2 weeks, so we always go the same 2 weeks. January is purely because I haven't started any work yet, so it's quite good for me to go away and just not have to think about work. I've not had any jobs set for the year yet, so I just think it's a good way to start the year, to be honest. So yeah, 3 years now I've done it, and yeah, hopefully I'll do it again next year.
So this one's from Nicky Furnage. What inspired you to start a YouTube channel? There's a question for me and Colin. Will a second Vegas trip be on the cards in the future?
Would you like to go first?
Oh, I think I will. I think having been there once, I'll definitely go to Vegas again at some point. When it'll be, I'm not sure. But I think I'll be going to the downtown area next time round rather than the Strip.
No, good idea. Yes, in terms of YouTube channel, actually the reason I started the YouTube channel was because of Colin. Because originally, when I started in, when was it, I can't remember, 2014 was it? Anyway, whenever it was, Colin wasn't sure that he was ever going to be able to get to Vegas. So we had a conversation. He said, well, why don't you just film a bit of it so I can see what it's like? So that was basically why I started the channel in the first place. It was only supposed to be like for one trip, and it's just sort of carried on. So yeah, it's down to this man, really.
Genius.
Absolutely.
Me, I mean.
Yes, well, you are, yeah, obviously. We know that, though.
So from Hoss Rocky, what downtown hotel would you recommend first? We have never stayed down there, but we are thinking about it. And two, did you notice a definite difference in your luck this time? You were gambling more in the total rewards properties.
I'm not sure I was, actually, because we did go in some total rewards properties, but in terms of the luck, yeah, I think, I mean, last year I had incredible luck in the January and the August trips, both of them, and came back ahead. And won overall for the year, I was ahead. Even if I went to casinos in this country, I was ahead. This time, really, apart from that one swing where I went from $20 odd to $9.50, I didn't really win anything. So I did make a big. It was a big difference in terms of downtown. The luck I did have was downtown, and that's consistent. To be honest, that is absolutely consistent. So, in terms of the best hotel downtown, I think if you're going in the summer, I always look for the pool area, and I think it used to be the Golden Nugget, but that's now sort of a party pool. So I would probably say the Downtown Grand. The pool's good. It's not massively busy around there. In terms of a winter destination, I'd probably stay at the Nugget if money was no object. In terms of I don't get any comps from them, so I don't tend to do it. But yeah, the Nugget for the winter and the Downtown Grand for the summer. Anyway, hello to Hoss Rocky as well, because Hoss Rocky is a legend. Anyway, next question.
So the next question is from Big AZ.
AZ Handicapper.
Yeah, Big AZ Handicapper. So,
hello, AZ Handicapper.
Do you think you notice a significant difference in consistent payouts on slots between the Strip, downtown, and off Strip?
Yes, as I said before, I think over the years I've definitely been luckier downtown. And I think they're a couple of percentage points looser than the Strip on average, and I think North Las Vegas, I think, is probably another couple of percentage points looser than downtown. So yes, without a shadow of a doubt, you get more luck there.
This is a very interesting question, considering how much we did drink. I'm not sure we'll be able to answer it really, so we won't remember. But which casino gave you the coldest, best Budweisers?
I actually, other than Harrah's one night, if you remember, we didn't get one bloody drink in there. I don't think there was one hotel which was bad on the drink service.
No, there wasn't. I drank Miller Lite actually all week, and I think probably the best place to get that was Mandalay Bay.
Yeah, the only thing is when me and Rob went into Mandalay Bay and you were playing, we couldn't get a drink, which is why we moved back to Luxor. I don't know, I think, I don't know. I seem to remember all of them being pretty good, to be honest, and they're all cold and all very tasty, so yeah, but other than Harrah's, which was awful, but other than that, that was it.
So, from Mervyn Taylor, hi Matt, really enjoy your blogs. What level are you on M-Life?
Gold.
Do you book your room over the internet or on phone with M-Life?
Basically, I book it on the phone, but actually, having spoken to Kim from Team Player Vlogs last time, she always goes for a personal host. And also, one of my Facebook friends sent me 2 email addresses of hosts at Bellagio and Mirage, Samantha Markham. So thanks for that, Samantha. And I'm going to actually try for August to actually email specific people, because I think you're going to get better offers from what I can tell. I'm fairly new to this whole Players Club thing, as I've said numerous times. I went to Vegas probably for 15 years without ever using them, on the basis that I'd never seemed to stay in a casino long enough to really, in my eyes, make it worth my while. But this is probably the 3rd year now I've been using them, and the comps are fantastic. As I said, I've got all of my rooms, all of my nights at Luxor comped, plus the resort fees as well. So
and 2 buffets.
And 2 buffets we had, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So it's definitely worth it anyway. So I'm going to try a different strategy this time. I'm interested to see if I get better rooms this time.
So from Big AZ Handicapper,
again,
yeah, this is another interesting question. Not about drinking this time. Which casino had the very best cocktail waitresses' uniforms?
Now
that's got to be that place downtown where they're dancing on the tables.
Oh yes, downtown. Actually, yes, downtown. I think it's definitely
which?
Golden Gate.
Golden Gate, wasn't it?
And well, actually off strip, but the Hard Rock Hotel has fantastic outfits for their waitress service. They're all in leather, and it's rather pleasing on the eye.
So from Alex Rhodes again, I watched you before going to Las Vegas for the first time now, and I'm watching you after your hang on. Well, my question is, do you keep your winnings separate from your other funds?
No.
Very interesting question.
Absolutely not.
So I don't actually have any winnings.
But if you did have any winnings, would you keep them separate?
Well, what I have is one big empty safe, so I suppose everything would just be kept in there. But there isn't anything in there.
No, and I, to be honest with you, all I do is I go out of an evening and I make sure I've got $400 or $500 on me, and that's basically it. And then I take, if I need to go back, I go back. If I don't, it lasts me for as long as it lasts me, and that's pretty much it. I'm quite a sensible gambler, but I'm not particularly disciplined in terms of money management. I just make sure I've got enough for the night, because it's all about the night, really.
So, just in case I get the name wrong, I think it's James Wheeler. I've not brought my reading glasses with me, but I think that's what it says. Hey Matt and fellow Owl.
Yes, up the Wednesday.
Do you try and run most of your bankroll where you stay mainly, or do you go for better future offers?
I think I did most gambling in M-Life because I like their Players Club, and I've used it a lot the last couple of years. So most of it was M-Life, a bit of Total Rewards, and then a bit of B Connected downtown.
Interesting. So from Nicholas Bowington?
Bowington, yeah.
Bowington, Nicholas Bowington. Sorry Matt, another question. What do you see your plans for the future with Vegas?
Oh right, okay. Well, in terms of the number of times I go,
yeah.
While I'm working, it will probably be the same as this, twice a year. I've sort of got into the routine of going twice a year now. But when I hit 55 and I retire, there's going to be a big event where I start off in Atlantic City and I travel across America visiting casinos. I'm sort of nicking the idea off the Trooper. For those of you that watch him, he did a Trooper across America, so this will be Bridger across America or something similar. But I've always wanted to do a road trip in the US, so the first month after I retire in 5 years' time will be spent doing that. So that should be a good vlog.
So from Yvonne Henneman, hi Matt. 1. Just wondering if you've ever spent any time in other American cities that have casinos like Reno, Atlantic City, etc. And if so, were they as good as Vegas?
I went to one in Florida. I went to one in Nashville or somewhere near Nashville. They weren't anything like Vegas, but they were still a hell of a lot better than this place. But as I said, I'm looking forward to exploring more of those in a few years' time. But not a huge amount of casinos outside of Vegas, really. But one place I do want to go, and if I'm solo next January, I will definitely go to is Laughlin. I wanted to do it at the time before this trip in January, so I will definitely be spending at least one night in Laughlin just to try it out there, because a lot of people have said try it, so I will.
And two, also from Milan, I know you get a lot of comps, but when you are travelling solo, do you book as a single or as a couple? I think she means as a single room or a double room.
Okay. No, just single.
But you get 2 beds in most of the rooms.
Well, yeah, I mean, either a king or 2 queens doesn't really make any difference. I think maybe what she's asking is whether it's more expensive if you book as 2 people. They charge you for 2 people. It makes no odds in Vegas. It's a 1-room rate. You can have a few people in there. I think they say it's maximum of 4 or 5 or whatever, depending on the size of the room. But you get charged the same anyway.
I never had any more than 5 people in my room.
Do you not?
Trip, no.
That's not what I've heard.
So from Sea Farcloth. Hi Matt, my husband and I will be there in February, and we are staying at the Paris for part of the trip, and we've made reservations to stay at the Plaza for the downtown portion of the trip.
Yep.
We wanted to know your thoughts on the Plaza, as we've never been inside there on our previous trips.
No, I really like the Plaza, and the pool area they've done up recently. Although that's when are they going?
She didn't say when they're going.
Okay, but if you're going in the summer, the pool's half decent now, and actually you can get rooms that walk out onto the pool deck as well, which look quite cool. I've always had a soft spot for the Plaza. I think I always like the look of the property. It's that real old school Vegas charm. I mean, it is a bit spit and sawdust. It's not. It has been done up, but it's not the poshest one downtown. But I stayed there. I think the first set of vlogs I did was from the Plaza. Thoroughly enjoyed staying there, and would certainly stay there again. Actually, they've got some decent restaurants in there. I say Oscar's I always go to. You've got Hash House in there, which is good. So good sort of dining options as well.
So talking about dining out options, Andy Lee has asked, is it cheaper to gamble downtown, would you say, and more fun than the Strip? And a food review would be nice.
A food review of?
Just a food review. So I think whether it's cheaper or more expensive.
Yeah, okay. Is it? I don't know. I don't think it's any more expensive or cheaper in terms of the gambling. The stakes are pretty much the same. I just think you get more bang for your buck really down there. I'm always asked to do lots of food reviews, but I'm not really a restaurant-y type. Me and Suzanne will go to a couple of nice restaurants over the course of a 2-week trip, but I'm more of a sort of night out, drinking and cheap food man than I am a fine dining. And certainly we didn't do any fine dining, did we?
There's a really good McDonald's right out the back of the Luxor, which was I went to twice. That was very nice.
Actually, yeah, you kept going down there, didn't you?
Yeah, for breakfast.
Yeah.
Ideal. So from Dave Mellor, I have a question, Matt. When do you get your M Life free comp rooms?
When?
Yeah. So he goes on to say, me and the wife have now been on Platinum since September 2017,
Yeah.
and have not yet had any free rooms
on
the M Life website.
You should do. I mean, if you go into either the app or the website and go into offers, it normally says something like gaming offer, and then you choose your property and it tells you how many free nights you get and what the offer is for the free play and the resort credit. So maybe you're not going on the right. You need to sign in and look at it properly. You should. I'd be surprised if you don't get any. Even with fairly modest gambling, you get something off.
Well, talking about modest gambling, he says we spent last year well over 5k on the slots and other table games, and thought we might get free rooms.
Yeah, I think you should get free rooms as well, for sure. And maybe do what I'm doing and then email them next time.
Next question is from David Latham. The only question I have, who drank more ale, you or Colin?
Probably me.
There's a different style of drinking going on. Matt has a style of drinking which basically he drinks as fast as possible for the first 3 hours and then falls asleep, whereas I drink for long periods of time, a bit slower basically.
That is actually true. I start like a train and then collapse, and Colin paces himself.
Yeah.
Actually, Rob drunk quite a bit as well.
Yeah, Rob certainly did drink quite a bit. If you're watching, Rob, hi.
Yes, hello, Rob.
So, Dolores Rulers, hello, Matt. I just wanted to let you know that I really enjoyed your vlog. Do you spend any time with Brian Christopher when you were in Vegas?
No, Brian Christopher's a slot channel, by the way.
Ah, right, okay.
Yeah, no, I didn't. I've not met Brian before, or Diana. I'd love to meet Diana. Diana's my favourite slot channel for sure. I sometimes find Brian a bit OTT with the sort of self-promotion, but still a great channel, and yeah, but I've never met him.
So she goes on to say that he was there when we were there.
Yeah, no, I think he was actually, yeah.
So from Keith Albright, on that final $25 Wheel of Fortune,
Yes.
where you were 500 up,
Yes.
did you hear a little voice in your head saying, final offer?
I think I heard a voice said stop.
That's a brilliant question.
Absolutely. I mean, I would have loved to have carried on. I mean, if you could, you can probably tell from my voice when I was commentating on that, I was absolutely hammered. In fact, I'd left Colin in the downtown Grand, and I didn't tell him where I was going because I didn't want a big hoo-ha about it. I just wanted to go and do it because I'd sort of planned to do it on the last night. So I went back to the safe, grabbed the cash, and just thought, right, let's do this. And I think I enjoyed it because I was drunk. I think if I'd been sober, I'd have found it too stressful. But it was a great experience. I'm not sure whether I'd do it again. I probably will end up doing it again, but it was great just to do it once. And actually, the interesting thing with that session is, if you look at the video, I was never really down, which makes the whole thing a lot more pleasurable. I was never chasing any losses. I was up pretty much throughout the whole sort of 5 or 10 minutes. So, but anyway, it was great. It would have been great to have hit 1,000 or something. But anyway, it was a good experience.
So, good question about jet lag here from H. Lynch.
Oh, tell me about it.
Yeah, do you have any tips, Matt, on returning to normal sleep routine after the trip? And do you feel it's better to book direct with hotels? Thanks, Hannah.
Well, Hannah, as I said, I always book on the... I'm not staying anywhere now where I don't get a comp, basically, so it will all be on either M Life or Total Rewards or Be Connected. And in terms of... So what was the first? Oh, yeah, jet lag. In terms of jet lag, this trip has been the worst jet lag ever. In fact, you never really, both on the way out and on the way back, you didn't really
get it. I was a bit tired for 2 days, but I was on the third day back at work, functioning fairly normally. A little bit less sleep than normal for about a week, I would say.
But for me, I went back to work and I was literally getting home at sort of 6:30, 7 and falling asleep straight away for about 7 days. It was crazy. I've tried everything. I've tried staying up, I've tried going to sleep, I've tried sleeping tablets, I've tried everything. Drinking to oblivion, everything. Nothing works. So it basically takes me a week and then I'm back in the groove again. But no tips, I'm afraid. I'm the world's worst in terms of jet lag.
So 3 days after my Vegas, 12 nights of, or 11 nights of drinking heavily with this chap, I found myself in the local casino drinking till about 2 in the morning with my brother, and that seemed to get me over the worst of it.
Actually, yeah, sometimes having a good night out.
Yeah,
no, it's true. And actually, in terms of, we were supposed to be going on, or I was supposed to be doing a detox till my 50th in February. And although I'm drinking orange juice because it's the afternoon, I lasted 10 days, sadly, and then fell off the wagon, and actually I'm happier for it, to be honest with you.
So, from Tina, so glad Colin will be in the Q&A. Hello, Tina, you're my biggest fan, I think.
You've got lots of fans, Colin.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Will you go back, Colin?
Yes,
Question mark. You guys are great, a funny team. Yes, I will go back. I'm not sure when, probably in a year or two, a couple of years from now. And I'll be staying downtown playing a bit of poker next time round.
Yeah, I would love to go back with Colin, as I said on the final bit of the last video, and we had an absolute blast, and I will drag him. Maybe we should open a Patreon account for people to help fund your next trip.
Oh yeah, that would be a good idea, yeah. If there were any...
Yeah, just send the cash to me and I'll pass it on.
Yeah.
No, but when he goes back, I will drag him there myself after a couple of years if he doesn't do it before then.
So from Merlin MJ, hi Matt, a few questions. 2 from me and 1 from the wife.
Okay.
My question is, would you ever consider doing a Patreon or other funding scheme?
Okay.
So, well, I would. So even if he wouldn't, so you can just bear that in mind. Or would time not allow?
I wouldn't do it, no. Basically, this vlog is just me on holiday, sharing my trip. I don't want to make it into a business. I don't want to sort of owe people anything for giving me money every month.
I don't mind.
No, I mean, I get a lot of people asking that, and also I can't post when I'm home. I've got nothing to post about. You really don't want to be me posting about my job and rubbish like that. So I'd rather just keep it as a holiday, sharing your holiday, and not. I'll be honest, as I said, one of the reasons I think maybe Brian, I get a bit irritated with it is because it is such a corporate sort of thing. I think the beauty of YouTube is people interacting with other people that are interested in the same thing, and not necessarily trying to make any sort of money out of it. Or obviously I'll make a very small amount on the adverts, but that's it. But yeah, no, not really.
So the wife's question is, what is Suzanne's favourite thing to do in Las Vegas, Matt?
Pool, sunbathing, swimming. She does like eating out in nice restaurants. She likes the shows. Not massively over keen on the gambling. She enjoys doing it, but wouldn't go there for the gambling like I do. It's basically all of the other stuff with the great weather and the entertainment in the evening. She thoroughly enjoys Vegas for that reason rather than the gambling aspect.
And lastly, another wife question, do you think that it is true that the house always wins?
Absolutely, 110% yes.
They can't lose, can they?
No. You'll get the odd trip or the odd night where you do crazily well, but by and large, only if I look over the last 35 trips, I'm down for sure. But it's as long as you're not going over your bankroll. And we were talking about this earlier, weren't we?
Yeah.
In terms of bankroll, Colin took a certain amount of money. Of course, when you arrive there, you think it would be great if I go back with more money than I came with or whatever. But ultimately, if you have anything left over in your pocket at the end of each night, providing you haven't gone back to the safe too many times, then you're doing okay. It's an entertainment budget. That's what I always say. It's an entertainment budget. Whether you choose that to do gambling, eating in nice restaurants, going to a show, whatever, it's there for entertainment. That's it.
So next question is from a Granny Smith. Granny with an I, that is. Do you ever get stopped for recording, and how do you handle it?
Actually, this time I got stopped once, and that was
the Luxor.
In the Luxor, yeah, by a bloody cocktail waitress. And she said, we gave her my order, and I was literally on a bonus on the Sphinx, I think it was, and she said, if you don't turn that camera off, I'll call security.
Yeah, she did.
And she still wanted her damn tip money when we came back, but that was the only time. And the last 2 trips before that, I don't think I've been stopped once. Yeah, I mean, so by and large it's fine, and if I'm stopped, I'll just ask them why, say that I'm very rarely stopped, and then obviously I don't want to get thrown out, so I will stop filming. But it doesn't happen that often. In fact, one thing I do, I'm quite in your face with the camera. I mean, if you noticed in Golden Gate, I literally walked down all of the tables with the camera up, sort of panning down, and you do run the risk there of being grappled to the ground by a security guard, but I never have been, and I think sometimes if you're very upfront and confident with it, people are less likely to stop you.
So Hunar TX, what is the maximum per bet you'll ever do on the slots? I've only ever done 150, but if I'm feeling funny, I'll do $2.
Funny.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I've never done $25 a press before this last trip, but normally the absolute maximum I'll do really is $3.75 or $4 if it's the Sphinx. I think it's 4 maximum, $3.75 for the Buffaloes and whatever. That's it. I don't really see me doing high limit really to any great degree. Not really. I'm happy enough just doing what I do now.
That's enough about that. The next question's for me.
Yes, we need more questions for Colin. Come on.
Here we go. Matt Pooley says that as a first-time visitor, can you ask Colin what his top 3 favourite things were and his least favourite 3?
Yeah, that's an interesting
Thanks, Matt. Always look forward to your videos. So, top 3 favourite things. The top favourite thing was probably winning the poker tournament at the Golden Nugget. I don't know if you know about the story, but basically I paid my $25 to play in a poker tournament. The poker tournament was cancelled because I was the only entrant, and the floor manager made a big fuss about the fact that I won my $25 back.
Excellent.
So that was the favourite thing.
That was a shame that was cancelled, that actually. It was a shame.
Second favourite thing was stealing an ashtray, which I gave to my friend Andy from the D, obviously risking getting shot by security guards.
I nicked one as well.
Yeah, did you from there?
Yeah. I wanted to steal one from Golden Gate and the D because they've got the logo on. I don't smoke, but I just like that sort of cheap tat, to be honest with you. But I only managed to grab one from the D in the end. We both had one, didn't we?
We did, yeah. And I think the third favourite thing was going to Area 51,
Yeah, that was fantastic,
which was a fantastic trip, and stealing the rock from the sentry post and managing not to get shot by camo.
And that was a fantastic day out.
It was a great day out. If you get a chance to go to Rachel, get an alien burger,
definitely.
buy some trinkets. It's a great trip.
That woman was barking mad though, wasn't she?
She was,
place.
yeah.
But yeah, Rachel is a top place to go. It really is a good fun day out.
So we've got Nicholas Bovington. If you could only play one slot machine again, which would it be? Wheel of Fortune, Top Dollar, or Buffalo?
Actually, I went off Buffalo a bit this time. I didn't really have much luck on it. No. I think you play a lot of Buffalo Classic.
I like Buffalo Classic, yeah.
Without a shadow of a doubt, if I could only ever play one machine, it would be Wheel of Fortune. I was explaining to Colin earlier today, actually, the reason I love it so much is when I first started going to Vegas, and you just had your regular, 3 real slots, 5 times pay, whatever. The one machine where you could actually get a bonus on the third reel was Wheel of Fortune, and I've loved it ever since, and I always seem to do okay on it, to be honest. And Top Dollar would be a very, very close second. So old school machines for me, 100% those two. In terms of the newer slots, I really, really enjoyed playing Sphinx 4D, and I should have played it another couple of times. But funny enough, I was going to play it downtown, and there were none of them downtown, so I didn't get another chance. But if you go to Vegas, go and play that one for absolute sure. It was good fun.
Some of the new machines, like the Willy Wonka machine, are a bit crazy, aren't they? A lot of features, a lot going on.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of bells and whistles, but not necessarily big payback. I think there's a Simpsons one, which again is the wraparound screens, and I've never seen anyone win anything on it. I know the jackpot was recently won in Cosmo because I saw it on Twitter, but I've never won anything really on that, to be honest.
So, from Emma Bridges, hi Matt, have you ever played Blackbeard's Treasure? And if so, do you know if it's in Vegas still? I can't find it anywhere.
Yeah, that's actually it's a bit like one of your old style sort of slots. I think I probably have played it. I can't recall where it is. I mean, I'd be amazed if downtown there isn't one, but I couldn't begin to tell you where. But you just got to scour the casinos, and I'm sure one will come up. But I have played it, yeah.
So, great question from Mike here. So, did you have your player's card in the $25 Wheel of Fortune machine or not? You probably left it behind, didn't you?
You know what? I've actually looked back on that video to see whether I had it in, because I was absolutely hammered. And the funny thing is, I would actually quite like to stay at the Plaza in the summer because the pool's quite nice. And if I didn't have it in, I'm absolutely nuts, because they would. I mean, for the I don't know how much I played through that machine, but it was probably $700. I don't know what it was, but anyway, I hope I did, and I'm going to email them to see whether they'll give me any comp offers for staying downtown. But I can't be sure I did, and I couldn't really tell from watching the video back whether I did. A bit of a fatal error if I didn't, for sure.
So, also from Mike, also any advice on daily bankroll? Cheers.
Well, I mean, as I said, I've over recent years, I've gone from sort of 300 a night to 40. This is very loose because, as long as I've got money in my pocket, I'll just top it up to sort of 300, 400, or 500. Not necessarily thinking I'm going to spend it all. I guess ultimately, I just try and limit the number of times I go back to the safe. This trip was the worst for that. But yeah, I don't know. You can buy these things where I told you about this, where you have like these. You put your winnings in at the end of each day and put it in like a money bank, which you can't open until you get home. You leave the key at home. I think you can buy them on Amazon and stuff like that. So, if you're disciplined enough, I'll probably end up stamping on it at midnight, when I'm half cut, trying to get the money back out again, I would think.
Is it Little Pig?
Yes.
little play pig.
Yes, exactly.
So here is my question and this is from PJSlots. PJSlots, beg your pardon. It's my question with you and Colin for the Q&A. Do you feel you hit more bonus spins on lower presses or higher presses? I think that must be lower or higher stakes per spin, per press.
I got quite a few bonuses all the time we were there. I don't think there was ever really a night that I didn't. I mean, I just got some pretty poor bonuses, and this is one of one of the rare trips where I didn't win anything over 500, which is quite unusual actually. Certainly for the level we were gambling pretty much non-stop for 10 days, weren't we? But I don't think it really mattered either way. I don't think it matters whether you play max bet or minimum. I think the bonuses are the bonuses. I know there's all sorts of conspiracy theories around. The lower you bet, the more bonuses you get, etc. I don't think that, to be honest. And actually, while I think of it, PJSlots, can you please subscribe to Paul's channel, because he's desperately trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, and I think he's about 100 and something away. So please subscribe. I'll put the link down below.
So this is Lisa Moyer. We know that we know what your favourite casinos are, but which were Colin's? Thank you, Lisa.
Interesting one, Colin.
So glad to hear that you and Colin travelled well together, because we really enjoyed the two of you together. Yeah, it was great fun. Which were my favourite casinos? Well, I'd like to say the California where we stayed. I enjoyed staying there, but I failed to win a single bet at the California where I stayed.
Which is unusual, that.
Which is, but I would think the Golden Nugget was probably one of my favourites. And what was the place with the retro slot machines upstairs?
The D.
The D. So the D was the upstairs retro slot machines. Arcade was probably my favourite.
You did like Mandalay Bay as well, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
For the slots.
Yeah, for the slots, yeah. Just because of the range, really, of machines there. James McAlpine, where the hell is the last video?
Oh no, that's not a question, because I've put, I've liked that.
Oh yeah, so they're not questions. Colin, that's not a question, but I just like saying the name over and over again. And that was from Total SMO.
AZ Handicapper again.
Yeah. Where's Colin's YouTube channel? What full would...
That full
would be an interesting start. Yeah, thank you, Big AZ. Yeah, basically, I'm not really interested in the limelight or building a following. I'm not really disciplined enough as an individual to bother posting regularly enough, frankly. So there you have it.
No, that's fair enough.
Yeah,
you've enjoyed being part of this, haven't you?
I enjoy being a star in the making on Matt's channel.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And you do have to be very disciplined to do this. I mean, there's no way I would miss a day without posting. And the number of vlogs and blogs that I've watched where people land in Vegas on their first morning, where they're up at 3 in the morning and they do either the first video or a whole load of typing, and then you never hear from them again. It's if I had £1 for every one of those I've seen, but yeah, you've got to be pretty disciplined. But I just enjoy doing it, and it's great to look back on. I mean, that second episode where we were laughing, I mean, if I hadn't recorded that, I mean, even if I look at it now, I'd cry with laughter.
Yeah.
It was one of the funniest nights we've ever had out, wasn't it, I think? And that's the sort of thing that, you capture, and it's something, without doubt, I'll look back on probably for the rest of my days. That it was so damn funny.
So from John Randall, I'm not sure what this question means, but do you think stopping the spin on a slot machine is better or worse for winning?
I think this is where you do rapid fire, so you don't let them go around naturally. You sort of double hit it and then they just stop.
Yeah.
I don't ever do that.
It's not much fun, is
I
it?
don't think I think it takes the enjoyment out of it. I think ultimately you should enjoy what you're doing, and I just like sort of sitting back with a beer and just playing the game. I'm not. Yeah, I can't be doing with all of that. I've seen a lot of people do that, and you just think, they almost seem too desperate, and like, where is the enjoyment? But
so this is from Matt. Hi Matt, which casinos have the best free drink service? 1 on the Strip, 2 downtown.
Downtown, definitely the Downtown Grand, without a shadow of a doubt. In fact, when we were with Juju down there, we had that nice waitress, and she was fabulous. They seem to, I think, because it's a quieter place, you just have more time to have conversations, and they're just much nicer in there. And she was giving us loads of drinks. On the Strip, I don't know. I mean, all of them have been good apart from Harris. I mean, I think Bally's actually. Bally's, when Suzanne and I were there last summer.
Circus, they didn't.
Actually, Circus.
So
I mean,
easy to forget that.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, Circus absolutely, and Bally's for sure.
So from George, hi Matt, I'm 21. I'm heading to Vegas for the first time in July for a week with a couple of friends, and I'm just wondering, is there anything that I mustn't miss out on while there? Also, are there any day trips that you would recommend doing? Good question.
Miss out on? Well, actually, it's funny because obviously it was Colin's first time as well, and I was very keen for him to see everything that he wanted to see. obviously without sort of pushing what I would choose to do necessarily too much. And actually, you weren't as massively into seeing every single casino and every single site, were you?
No, I mean we saw plenty of the city, didn't we?
Yes, we did. Yeah.
There's that show that you recommend?
Yeah, absolutely. That's the one thing I think you would have probably liked it without realising. I wanted to take Colin to see Absinthe, but we did Chris Angel, and
we ran out of time in the
yeah,
end.
we sort of ran out of time, and ultimately we were there to drink, party, and gamble, and that's what we did. Excuse me. In terms of things you must do, definitely the Stratosphere. I would go up to the top of that. That is cool. Actually, funny enough, we didn't do that, did we?
No, we were going to.
You got to see all of the sort of Bellagio fountains and the Mirage, and I mean, I would just try and see all of the casinos. I would definitely go to the Hoover Dam. I would definitely go to the Grand Canyon. I would probably go to Red Rock, which is really nice. Area 51, I thought was a fantastic day trip out. Depends how long you're there for, really. I think also a helicopter ride down the strip at night is excellent, and there are quite a few bars where you can sort of sit out and have great views looking down the strip. There's one at the top of Mandalay Bay. There's so much to do.
So from Matt Bates, one more. In your opinion, over the years, has Vegas changed for the better?
Well, I don't think it's changed for the worse. I just I'm a bit of a traditionalist, which is why I've probably over the years spent more and more time downtown compared to when I first started going. I just used to go down there one night and get a taxi and then come back. I wouldn't have even in those days considered staying down there. Now I think I prefer it, and I know obviously Colin has said he does. But Vegas.
We like the seedy side of life.
Yeah, we do. Yeah. No, absolutely.
Like
I understand that people
fun.
like these big suites, and to be honest, it doesn't really interest me. It's I like traditional things, and I like all the architecture of the older casinos. I like the history of them. So if something's got a history, whether it's down on its heel or not, actually in some ways it's more attractive if it is.
I agree.
I don't know. So has it changed for the better? No, it's changed, but there's still enough of the sort of original stuff there, or original era stuff there to keep me happy. I'd be very disappointed if they ever imploded downtown, put it that way.
So another question from Matt: what machine do you consider your luckiest?
It seems to change trip to trip. I mean, last time it was with the Buffaloes. This time I couldn't hit anything on it. I guess it's Wheel of Fortune, probably. I've always had decent results on that.
What was the one I had the big win on? What was that?
China Shores.
China Shores, yeah, that was my luckiest.
Now,
machine.
I was explaining. Colin was saying, "Well, I never hit anything big on this trip," and I said, "Well, you've got to look at it in relation to what you were betting." And the night we were in Golden Gate, and he was paying 30 cents a press, and he won 118, I think, from memory. I would have been paying $3 a press on that. So that's $1,000. That's a big win. I never got anything over 500 in the whole 10 days we were there. So you have to look at it as in multiples of what your stake was. And China Shores actually, and you also won on it in Flamingo, didn't you?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that was a smaller win. So good question from I think it's Awaits Lass.
I'm not sure.
Can't read it.
Yeah.
How much to tip for cocktail waitresses?
Wow. Oh, well, yes. Now, do you want to explain Rob's strategy
Rob's
around
got
this?
a brilliant strategy, which kind of had varying results, but basically tip high to begin with, maybe $3 or $4, maybe $5.
He was doing 10, wasn't he?
He was doing more, with the idea that will encourage the waitress to come back and bring more and more and more drinks. It really does depend how busy the casino is, which casino you're in. But the standard tip is usually just $1.
Yeah, but I think from experience, if you bet $2 upwards, they will be back far quicker than if you just give them $1. Absolutely, 100%, regardless of where you go. That's for sure.
So from Kathleen McCarthy, I like your vlogs better than mouthy JFK, the American flip and dip man.
Who's
What a
that?
pain. It's not really a question.
JFK, the
Kathleen.
American flip and dip man. What a pain.
It must be an American thing.
I've never
we don't
heard
know
of
what that is.
JFK, the American
We have
flip
heard
and
of
dip man.
Hugh Grant, haven't we?
Yes, Hugh Grant. Yes.
So, I'm not sure that was a question.
No,
but
I've
thank
never
you.
heard of it, sorry.
Mary Reid. One, it seems that you always start up by putting 100,
Yeah.
putting in 100. Do you stay on the same machine with the money until it's gone, even when you're not winning? That's the first question.
Yeah. No, I'd probably try and get a bonus, and then I normally, after a bonus, maybe have a couple of extra spins to see if it's got anything else in it, but then tend to cash out. If I'm playing a sort of a quick hits machine at 150 or 250 a spin, I'll probably give it 50. If I'm playing something that is $3.75 or $4 sort of Sphinx or things like that, I will probably try the whole 100. It depends on the stake, really. I think if you're betting $4 a spin, you really need to give it the whole 100. If you're doing a lesser amount, then maybe 50. But I certainly don't carry on once really I've won something out of it. I think you can vouch for that. I normally
walk away.
pretty much walk away. Yeah, I might have gone something else, but I walk away from that machine.
Which casino do you seem to win the most at?
The luckiest casino, not necessarily this trip, but on average, Mandalay Bay, MGM, Bellagio, Bally's, that's probably, and Stratford on the Strip, also Westgate, and downtown Grand, California, Golden Nugget, and that's probably about it.
So I'll list my unluckiest because I didn't have any lucky ones. The California was the number one unluckiest place, wasn't it?
Yeah,
For me?
I don't understand that because they're normally, I think they're fairly loose. The Boyd properties are fairly loose.
Yeah. The second unluckiest was actually Circus, where I,
yeah.
with my roulette strategy,
Yeah.
went from bad to worse, basically. I didn't win a single spin on playing even money games, so red or black or even or odd. I spent the whole afternoon losing bet after bet after bet. Matt encouraged me to change my strategy the next day, and where I continued to also lose, switching from cold numbers to hot numbers. And my third unluckiest property was probably the Luxor. Actually.
Oh, actually, no. I remember the one you really hated was Harrah's.
Harrah's.
Do you remember? Because we went into Harrah's basically. He probably forgets this, but we went into Harrah's.
Were we drunk?
And we were drunk. Yeah. And
was it like the second night or something?
Yeah, second or third. It was when I'd said we'd been down the south end too much. We needed to go out up the top. And you came out of there and you stomped around saying, "I never got one free bloody drink and I lost every single bet. It was not a themed casino. I hated it." You probably forgot that now, but you ranted about Harrah's for about an hour.
The interesting thing is, not getting drinks seemed to be coupled with not winning on the machines as well, often for me. So it was quite interesting. Okay, next question is from No Breakfast. That's the username.
No Breakfast, interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting name.
Yeah. What was the story behind the person you were trying to avoid in the Golden Nugget? So.
Right, do you want to talk about this?
It's a bit of a. Well, we met a young lad that was there on the.
Let's call him Jay.
Let's call him Jay for short. Basically, I'd gone off to play some roulette. I'd left Rob and Matt playing some machines where they were doing like $50 or $100 each in the machines, something like that.
Yeah.
And I came back, and there was this young lad, sort of like practically leaning on Matt's shoulder, watching him winning one of the bonuses on one of the machines. Was it a Harley machine you were playing?
No, it's Goonies.
And I thought, oh, well, it's probably one of Matt's friends from the vlog that he does, someone that knows him, and he's just sort of hanging around. And then this chap basically just latched onto Matt, Rob and I the whole night.
But he didn't just do that.
He got a whole load of free drinks.
He didn't get $1 out of his pocket. Basically what was happening, myself or Rob or Colin were ordering around from the cocktail waitress, obviously because we were playing. He was standing behind us. I just said to him, "Oh, have a drink," like that, thinking, why not once. He then basically was around all the time. He expected to be included on every single round. Rob, bless him, even at the end of the night, ended up buying him a burger.
Yeah, unbelievable.
And he didn't get his hand in his pocket even then. And then at the very end of that night, we all went to bed and we left him with this drink, this red drink that must have cost God knows what. Some cocktail. He was happy as Larry. He'd had a completely free night out. Anyway, in our drunken haze, we'd said to him, "Oh, come downtown the following day," because we were moving to the California. So we'd already invited him, so we couldn't really sort of go back on it. And we thought, well, we'll see whether he contacts us, which he did.
And we basically hid round the far right-hand corner of the Golden Gate, was it?
Golden Nugget. Yeah.
And
in the corner, hiding behind a fruit machine, the last one in the block, hoping that he wouldn't find
Anyway,
us.
as it turns out, he never turned up until way later than he was going to, and thankfully we spared ourselves more probably getting our hand in our pocket for his benefit. I really hate people like that. That, you know, I'm not expecting him to match us drink for drink or pay for big rounds, but at least he could do was tip the poor waitress, even in addition to what we were tipping her. I mean, it was outrageous, really.
So the irony is, he's actually invited me back to Vegas with him, hasn't he?
I'm sure he has.
Messenger, next year.
No, he
if I
has,
want to go on the 8th of January, I can go and buy him another drink.
He's sort of befriended Colin, hasn't he?
Has, also from No Breakfast, I'm going to read this out, even though it's not really a question. It's a question that we've answered already.
Okay.
Colin was a great addition to the vlogs.
He was.
I think so. Will he join the Vegas trips in the future?
I hope so.
I'll definitely be joining a trip in the future, yes. So, Sarah Powell. Hi, Matt. What's your all-time favourite slot? I think I might have answered that.
Wheel of Fortune,
Yeah. How do you get your comps for the rooms? I think you answered that as
Yeah, I
well.
think I've answered that already.
We've been to Vegas 13 times and always play at M Life properties. Yet when I log into M Life, I never get any comps on the rooms.
No, I don't get this.
People are doing this, not doing it the same way as you, then, Matt.
Download the app and hit offers, and well, they're not. They sort of come and go. So you've got to sort of go into the app on a regular basis, because you might get an offer one day, you go in there and it's disappeared. So keep looking. Don't just look once. Keep looking. And as I said, if you don't get luck with that, send your Players Club number in and email them. That's what I'm going to do.
Simon D. Hi, Matt. Can we have a Q&A with Colin, please? LOL. Here I am. It's only cost
Hi,
him,
Simon, by the way.
It's
I
only
know
cost him
Simon.
a gammon, egg and chips to do this.
That's true. I paid him gammon, egg and chips is on me for hiring him for this hour
session.
or whatever.
Sonny, how is your puppy?
Well, yes, he had the snip, as I mentioned, and he then recovered from that fine, but he then ate something a bit dodgy, and I had a projectile vomiting basset hound for about 24 hours about a week ago, which coincided with me falling off the wagon and going back on the beer that evening. But he's great, and yes, we both love him dearly. He's a lovely little dog.
And Sonny's actually going back to Vegas in May, and Colin is a hoot. Yeah,
He is. You're an internet legend, you know that?
Internet legend. So Anastas, I think. I have a second question. What casinos have you found are welcoming to people who record videos? And what hotels aggressively stop you from videoing?
None of them aggressively stop you. As I said, Luxor was the only one I had problems with this time. Mirage I've had a problem with in the past. The only ones that I think actually promote filming are, I know, the reason you see Brian, Diana and everybody else in Cosmopolitan is because they are incredibly friendly for people that want to film. As long as you don't film the patrons in the casino, they are happy for you to wander around filming. And also the Wynn are fine with filming. That aside, I don't think there are many others. But having said that, I think now I very rarely have a problem. I had a problem with Lucky Dragon, which I'm sure you're all aware by now is now closed. But very few. It's the odd incident here and there. But normally I can just wander around and do what I like.
So, also from Anastas, do you have any rituals or must-dos during your trip? I always have to grab a specific meal once and play my number for one roulette spin every time I visit.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. No, not really. Rituals, no. If I go with Suzanne, I always like to eat at Oscar's once, and we normally eat at the Top of the World restaurant at the Stratosphere because I love the views from there. But no, other than that, not really. No.
Second question from her or him. I may plan to come to London for my first trip. Which casinos are good to visit there?
In London, okay. Well,
Yeah.
Colin and I have been to the ones in Leicester Square.
Yeah.
They're not anything like Vegas at all. I think, in fact, I did do one vlog where I showed which one was it? Hippodrome Casino. They're basically all a bit like that, and they're quite good for an afternoon or an evening
It's
out,
okay
aren't they?
for a couple of hours.
Actually, this one, and I'll see if I can do some filming at this one. This one's pretty smart, actually. There's two Grosvenor casinos in Reading here. This one's the bigger of the two, and Colin hadn't been here before. You normally go to the one in the centre of town, but this is quite smart. In the UK, you do have a limit on the number of slots you can have in a casino, which is why they've always had a lot of space and few slots, which is a shame. But basically, if you go to Leicester Square, if you're coming over to London, there's about, how many casinos do you reckon?
Five or six.
Five or six. They're all about the same. You can have some fun there, but if you're expecting Vegas, forget it. It's nothing like it.
This is probably as good as any London casino
I would say
here for a night out.
Absolutely, I would say this is good, good as any. Yeah.
This is about 30 minutes on the train from London.
Yeah.
Okay, Andy Chernolt, I think. Looking forward to my March Vegas trip. Which casino did you have the most luck in? I think we might have answered
Yeah,
this.
I think you answered that.
Okay, hi Matt. First Vegas trip booked in 23 days, 8 hours and 16 minutes.
He's probably there
so
now.
Excited.
Or going shortly.
Very soon. What are your 3 must plays on the slots I should try out?
As I said, I would do Sphinx 4D. I would do. Well, I mean, I like Wheel of Fortune and Top Dollar, but I know some people, and they may be a bit too old-fashioned for some people. I'm just trying to think of newer games. I like Harley Davidson.
Harley,
yeah. I mean, providing you use a strategy that I keep banging on about, you found it worked.
Yeah, put $50 in, see how you get on, and if you don't hit the bonus, move to a different machine.
Yeah.
That's also getting ready to pay out.
Exactly.
That was from Sonia. Thank you for that question, Sonia. We've got Shannon here. Are you strictly a slot machine player, or do you have you dabbled in other table games?
Yeah, I've played roulette a bit in the past, but I'll be honest, the thing I like about slots is it's totally and utterly mindless, and not only that, you can win very quickly, very big, and you can get drunk while you're doing it, and it doesn't affect the outcome of the game. Ultimately, when I'm in Vegas and out, I like drinking, and therefore I need a game that accommodates that, and I find slots very exciting. You're more of a
I do like
table game,
strategy. I do like strategy games, but for this trip, I more or less played slots for the reasons Matt said. You could have a drink, you could not worry about it.
Yeah, I mean it's a very sociable thing to do.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm not. I've sort of gone from doing a bit of roulette most trips to I can't remember the last time I was on a roulette table, to be honest.
So from Mike C, in your opinion, what is the best downtown hotel to stay at? I tend to always try to stay at the Golden Nugget, but I'd like to try another one.
Yeah, I think Golden Nugget is the best one downtown for sure. It's the one that is close or closest resembles a strip property for sure. But you know, I will always advertise the downtown Grand because I've never had a bad experience in that property. So try that. It's a great little place.
So moving on, Big AZ handicapper again. Did you play the Aladdin at this trip?
I did. I lost 100 in it early doors. On the last day, I wasn't playing max bet. We were playing sort of minimum bet for a few hours, weren't we? And I was on it then and hit the bonus a bit, but because I was only playing sort of $1 something, I didn't bother filming it. Yes, I did play it. Unfortunately, I didn't have anything to show you, Big AZ. But hopefully in August I'll play it again.
So this is an interesting question. Do you gamble more and drink more without Suzanne there?
I would say drink more. No, Suzanne's a drinker. She's a drinker. She can knock her wines back. Yeah. In fact, she can polish off a bottle of wine without it touching the sides half the time. I couldn't drink wine to that volume at all. In terms of gambling, I think this trip. I mean, with Suzanne, what tends to happen is because it's the summer, we'll be outside a lot more. I'll probably tend to have like an hour by the pool and then go in for an hour and do a bit of gambling. Here we were gambling afternoon,
all the time,
afternoon, evening.
Every time I was going down for breakfast and having 20.
Yeah,
and Wolf,
exactly.
So thingamajig.
And I think that's the thing about maybe winter trips as opposed to summer trips. The weather isn't what it is in the summer, and when I go solo, I'm there to gamble for as long as I'm there, and that's it. And actually, funny enough, one thing I did enjoy on the last day was not gambling to max because it sort of took the pressure off.
Yeah.
And I put 100 in before we went to the airport, and it lasted for hours, didn't it?
Yeah.
And so I'm thinking maybe a slight change of strategy for August. I think what I might do is do sort of lower bets during the day, and then do the max bet strategy in the evening. So that's what I'm thinking of doing next time.
So from Johan, this one. Hey Matt, my favourite English YouTube vlogger.
Thank you very much, Johan.
I have another question regarding departure from London Heathrow. Well, we didn't depart from London Heathrow this time.
No.
The non-stop flight to Vegas is possible from there, but you do go through the USA Immigration Service in London or in Las Vegas.
Oh, okay. No, you go through US immigration in Vegas all the time. They wouldn't let it happen in London. So, yeah, not at all. Is that the question?
Well, yeah, I think basically it is.
Yeah. No. Yeah. So I mean, you'll go through immigration, UK immigration, if you're coming. I'm guessing you're coming from somewhere else in Europe, and then you go through the whole thing in the US. And I always find them quite, often quite rude, to be honest, in the US compared to the UK. But it's just the way they are.
So also from Granny Smith, which is in Apple in England. If you don't have that one in the States, I'm not sure.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Was this the last video? I was hoping for a couple more.
Oh no,
that's your vlogs. So that's not a question.
That's not a question.
Is it?
No, it wasn't. There's one more.
Hi Matt, this is from Popper. Do you ever play the high limit slots?
Oh, this is Pippa Deduda, isn't it?
Yeah,
Pippa she likes dogs, Pippa, don't you, Pippa? And if I'm right in thinking you run a dog sanctuary or something, or a dog hotel, I'm sure that's. If it's not you, I apologise. But sorry, what was the question?
Do you ever play the high limit slots? Great vlogs, once again, thanks.
Well, I did, as you hopefully you saw. Not more regularly than that though.
So John Brennan, hi Matt, another excellent series of vlogs. Taxi cabs or Ubers? Good question.
Uber. Got into it in August last year. We took quite a few Ubers.
We did.
And I don't think you'd ever had an Uber before.
No, and they arrive within minutes. So they're basically waiting outside the resorts.
Yeah, we found at Luxor actually. As soon as I pressed the button, it was we are waiting for you. It was there was a very specific place where they would pick you up. I love Uber. Funnily enough, it's just got banned in London, but I think it's a great thing, and I do think they are far more friendly than regular cab drivers, in my experience.
But part of that's because you don't give them the tip in cash.
Yeah, no,
the
that's the thing I like is that everything's done on the app. It debits your credit card or debit card, and when you get out of the cab, you can then go in, rate your trip, and then choose to leave a tip. It sort of takes all of the hassle out of it, to be honest.
So Nicholas Bovington, just a few questions, Matt. Some of these questions we've had before. What's your favourite downtown hotel to stay at, and what is your favourite strip hotel to stay at?
I think I've said. Have I said strip? I think if I had to pick a strip hotel, probably Bellagio.
If you could only eat at one restaurant in Las Vegas, which one would it be?
Top of the world.
Are you an all-you-can-eat buffet man or a fine dining man?
Definitely an all-you-can-eat buffet man.
We had a couple of buffets.
Yes,
so
we did.
Fantastic.
Actually, the Luxor buffet was nice.
It was nice, yeah. Good
I had a $100 resort credit, and as I've said on previous trips, I don't eat a huge amount in Vegas normally. So I paid for Colin's on a couple of occasions.
You did? Very nice. That was the nicest
they
food
were.
I had.
Yeah, no, they were decent, weren't they?
Yeah,
I mean, there was nothing wrong with it at all. And it was how much was it?
$19 each.
Yeah, it was crazily cheap. Yeah.
So from Whole Queen, I think, Whole Queen 26. Love all of your vlogs. Set us up for our trip a few weeks. I think they've got a trip in a few weeks.
Oh, so set them up for the trip.
Okay, set them up for the trip. A few questions. So, why do you fly on the 1st of January each year? Is it because fares are low?
No, not specifically, although fares are fairly low in January. It's just because I like to basically go before, as I said, I've started work for the year. That's it, really.
Who do you usually fly with? Now, this is an interesting point.
Yes, I mean, this is the first time I've ever flown Norwegian, and we were both quite impressed with Norwegian.
Yeah, pretty good, very clean.
It was 450 quid each, I think, from memory. Yeah. We had the leg room on the way out, we didn't on the way back, but it was, in fact, it was very quick on the way back, wasn't it? It seemed to be
about 9 hours.
Yeah, about 9 hours. Yeah. Norwegian was great. I would not hesitate to fly with them again. Having said that, I've just booked my trip for August, and we're back in premium economy with Virgin, which we got for £1,000 each, which for premium economy is actually pretty good. So I'm back with Virgin next time, but I'll certainly fly Norwegian again. Although, funny enough, Norwegian do not fly to Vegas in the summer because apparently the high temperatures mean that their Dreamliner planes can't take off if it goes over 105. Yeah, apparently if it goes over 105, they can't take off for some reason. I don't know the reason why.
Not very good sign.
So basically, last summer they had to cancel a whole load of flights. So this summer they decided they're not going to put them on during the summer. Bizarre.
Well, very bizarre. Yeah,
I've never heard of that before.
I'm not so keen on them anymore now.
No, so stick with Virgin.
Yeah.
I've never gone to Vegas with BA actually, but they only fly from Heathrow, and I live near Gatwick. That's probably the reason.
They should have a disclaimer saying you can fly with us in the summer, but we'll probably crash.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
As long as you're fine with that, then. So the second question was, who do you fly with and which class? We've answered that.
Premium economy is my. I really don't like doing economy, but actually, we did economy this time.
Bad,
it was
was
actually okay. It was okay. It's just a state of mind.
Which hotel downtown? We've stayed previously at Golden Nugget. We would like to try somewhere else.
Downtown Grand?
Especially if there is no dreaded resort fee. Well, that's an interesting
Yeah,
point.
I mean, well, the only downtown properties without resort fee are the Boyd properties. That's Main Street Station, California, Fremont. All of the others, actually, Four Queens might not. Downtown Grand does have a resort fee. Obviously, the downside of not having a resort fee is that you have to pay for Wi-Fi, which
that was $10 a day.
Yeah, $9.99 a night. But yeah, I mean, you get good rates downtown anyway. So even with the resort fee, it's still pretty decent. So try the Downtown Grand.
So the Simon G69. It feels like I've been there with you, Matt. Cool vids.
Excellent.
I know what you think, actually, Simon, because I feel like when I've watched Matt's vids from home, it's sort of there's a sense that you're there with him, isn't there?
And that's the best thing anyone can say about these vlogs. And this is, as I said, why I don't really want to make it a corporate sort of money making thing to any great degree, because it's just me sharing my holiday with whoever wants to watch it, and that's so I'm really pleased if anyone thinks like that, because that's the idea.
Has Vegas become too expensive for us Brits, or is it just the same? The pound has dropped a bit.
Yeah, it's dropped. Actually, it's now up to 142 again in the last week or so since I've been back. So yeah, the exchange rate's going back up after Brexit. I don't think it's. I mean, listen, this trip I didn't pay for one hotel room, and I got the flight there for 450 quid. Now you tell me where in Europe you can go for 10 days for 450 quid. Okay, you got the gambling, and I lost, and you have to take it all into consideration. But ultimately, it's still, I think, good value for money, providing you go completely bonkers on the gambling front.
So, Nicky Furnage, how far do you and Colin go back?
Well, this is quite an interesting question. Yeah, so
very interesting.
When 1990, I would have said.
Yeah, something like early 90s.
It was very early 90s, and we both worked for a finance company. When did we first meet?
Reading.
It was actually in
Reading
Reading.
branch.
Yeah, so I used
branch.
to live close to Reading here in a little place called Burnham.
Yeah.
And then I moved to Ascot, which is closer to Reading. And yeah, we worked in the same branch, and then I ended up working in Bracknell, and Colin came and worked with me there. And
that was funny as well.
And it
wasn't
was, yeah. We used to have we had a scream even back then.
So basically, Matt was the manager, and he basically moved somebody less popular and less.
I did, yeah.
He didn't get on with quite as well out of his branch, so that I could move in.
Yes.
And everybody knew that's what you'd done.
Absolutely.
I think, basically, that's quite funny.
And basically, in those days, we were in our sort of 20s, carefree and all that. And we basically used to leave our place of work at about 5:30. With our snooker cues, and we used to go down the snooker club. 40
cigarettes.
We used to be down there for 20 to 6, and we used to
be there at 11 still.
Yeah, still there at 11 after 5 or 6 pints of beer each, and Lord knows how many cigarettes. We don't smoke now, but we did then. And then you can in those days.
We would say we won't do it tomorrow, though, will we?
No.
Every day we'd say we won't do that again.
Yes,
tomorrow.
no, exactly.
We're too tired,
we used to roll into work the following day with a mega hangover and say, "Right, that's it. I'm not going to the snooker club tonight." And
we always did.
It would get to about 5 o'clock. It was like, "Do you fancy just one down the snooker club?" So we used to go back down.
I think we must have got drinks about 3 or 4 times a week in those days.
Yeah, we did. I mean, we were out most nights. It was basically like one long Vegas trip without the gambling, wasn't it?
But we were trying to work. We pretended to work in the meantime.
They were good times, actually, and we've stayed in contact pretty much ever since. We lost contact for a few years in the late 90s, but we get on great, as I'm sure you could tell from the videos these last 10 days.
So, PJSlots again.
Hello, Paul.
Hey, Nicky, I think I heard him say 1990.
Oh, there you go.
Right. I wonder where all the other questions are going. I've gone into...
Yeah, you've gone into that one. Yeah.
Okay, Lewis Whitehall. What is your biggest win to date, and what hotel was it at?
Well, actually, it's not that big. The biggest win I've ever had is $1,500. That's all. Now, the reason for that is because when I first started going to Vegas, I would bet 75 cents a press on your standard 3-reel 25-cent slot machines, and I would play the 25-cent version of Wheel of Fortune and do the same. It's only probably the last 3 or 4 years that I've upped the ante a bit in the betting. I very rarely used to play dollar slots going back, and this 1500 was in 2007. I spent almost a month in Vegas in 2007, and this was one of those mad trips where over the course of a month, I couldn't stop winning. It was crazy, and I hit 1500 in Golden Nugget, and I've won the 1,000 on the Wheel of Fortune. I actually won 1,200 in smaller wins on a 25-cent Wheel of Fortune in New York, in a couple of years after that. But never hit a big hand pay since, which is why I was going for it a bit on the $25 one at the end there. But I don't know, it'll happen. The worst thing you can do is push it too hard, that is for sure. You just got to enjoy it, which I do.
Matty Holloway, so thanks for all your time and effort doing these videos. I love watching them.
No problem.
One question. Do you think the machines pay out more downtown rather than the strip machines?
Yes, as we said.
And again, thanks to you and Colin. Thanks, Matty. Matt's hater this time. Did you...
There's lots of Matt.
Yeah, there's lots of Matts. Is this you? Writing questions to yourself with different surnames. Did you manage to get on the Leprechaun? Oh, I lost a lot of money on that slot machine. Did you manage to get on the Leprechaun slot whilst you were downtown?
Oh, yeah, that one, yeah.
I did play that one quite a few times, not just downtown but on the strip. It's a nice bonus and nice feature when it gives it to you. The little Leprechaun basically dances and throws coins onto the board, creates wilds. It's quite an interesting game when it starts to pay.
Did you win anything on it?
I lost quite a lot on that in the end. I hit a couple of bonuses and mostly I lost, I think.
Yeah, I played that with Drew Benet in Fremont last August, but I didn't get on it this trip. But I quite like the game actually, so I'm sure I'll play it again.
Yeah. So Ross, this time, have you planned an August trip? Yes.
Yes, it's booked between the. Let me think of the dates. We go out on Saturday the 4th and we come back on Friday the 17th. Haven't booked any of the hotels yet. As I said, I'm going to email some slot hosts and see what happens. But yeah, it's all booked up, and Suzanne is very excited, as am I.
So this one's from Tina Marie. I'm heading to Vegas for my 40th birthday.
Excellent.
What do you think is the ultimate thing that I should do or see there?
Well, I guess all the things I've said before, really. I mean, it's the ultimate thing.
There are 15 other couples joining them. My goodness.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
I'm shooting for the centre strip only because I have 15 other couples joining us and they have never been to Vegas. That sounds like an exciting vacation.
I don't know where you're staying on the centre strip, but I would definitely stay at Bellagio I think for someone for their 40th, it's a great property to stay at, and it's fairly high end but not extortionately expensive. So go for that, and I don't know. I think I mentioned before all the things that you should do on your first time, so just go for it. 15 people, my word. That's some party. Have a good time.
15 couples, that's 30 people.
Oh, it's 15 couples?
Them.
My gosh, wow.
Well, at least 30, maybe some children as well.
Tell you, if you can organise that lot, you're a better person than me.
Yeah, we just about managed to get the two of us.
Yeah, we
there,
did,
didn't we?
yes, exactly.
That was enough trouble.
It was.
Lots of texts going backwards and forwards. Can you make the first? Yeah, I'm not doing anything that day. How was the Luxor? This is from Tina Lenning. How was the Luxor? The last time I was there, the beds were so bad we checked out early.
Oh.
It was dirty too.
What do you think?
The rooms were certainly big. There wasn't much in the rooms, but they were clean and adequate.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I do like the Luxor, and I was on the very top floor, and actually I did get a little irritated by the end because
it's a long way.
It's by the time everyone's got off. Before it gets to your floor, it does grate a little towards the end. I was quite happy with my room. I wouldn't probably stay there with Suzanne. I don't think the room was really, I tended to stay.
Very basic.
Yeah, it was quite basic. I mean, I had a suite, but it wasn't really a suite. I had a tub in the next to the bed and a little extension on the side, but it was perfectly fine for what we were doing. And ultimately, we were looking at budget properties, weren't we? So it was really for that reason we stayed there. It was either going to be there or Excalibur, and I think we've stayed at the better one of the two. So I enjoyed it, and the bed certainly wasn't a problem.
The interesting thing, I got a resort fee credited back to me because there was one night where there was no water
at all,
and no one had let us know. So On the floor I was on, there was a lot of building work going on as well. Some of the rooms were being refitted.
Yeah, I think they're going through. They got new Clio rooms, which are the remodelled ones, and I think they're going through pretty much the whole pyramid now and redoing it. I like the casino in there. We had a few good nights in there, didn't we?
We certainly did. But a long way back to the room, back to that safe to get the extra funds.
Yeah.
Which,
well, yes, that's true. At least you kept fit while you went back for the extra funds.
Because we were on the 70th floor or something? No.
I was on 30th, you were 28th.
28th floor, that's right. Okay, so from Jake Rosenberg. Hey man, love your videos.
Thank you,
I wish you were in Vegas more often.
So do I.
Have you ever tried table games, or do you just stick to slots?
Slots, as I said.
Kate Gardner. Hi Matt, my husband and I really enjoy your vlogs. Your favourite strip and non-strip hotel. I think we might
I think I've done that one
a couple of times. IBH, is there anything still on your to-do list which you haven't got round to? Even after 35 trips?
Yes, I would. I mean, I definitely want to stay at Cosmo. I will have to stay at the Wynn because, as you know, I'm not a great fan of the Wynn. But everyone says, "Oh, you'll love it if you stay there." So at some point, I will. So those two properties I would like to stay at. I would like to do a bit more high limit gambling. I did enjoy that grand, and I was sort of thinking, if I took a grand each trip and did one session with a grand, would that be that would be quite exciting. I'm not saying I'm going to do it, but it's in the back of my mind. But no, I just love being in Vegas. I get as excited now as I did the first time I went, and I don't really see that changing, to be honest.
So Simon South has got two questions. Is Colin available for stag do's? And the best call in Vegas. I don't know if those two questions are connected. But I'm not much of a swimmer. I'll just tell you now before I come out for your stag do. Maybe for a couple of $1,000.
I'll tell you what, you do remind me of that guy in The Hangover, the guy with the beard. There's something about your humour and his humour. And I thought that when I first saw The Hangover. I could just see you as, you don't look like him, but just your humour
as that character.
Yeah, as that character is not dissimilar. And I think I'll be surprised if any of you agree with me, drop a note down below, because I'm
any film producers out there that want to hire me?
Yeah, Hangover 4 starring Colin Fell. Yeah, how about that?
So Tom Nodal, great vlogs once again, Matt. What is the price of a rental car? And why? What sort of policies are they? Do you need a credit card, etc.?
Yeah, actually, the rental car thing is a good question, because last year I did the rental car, and last year was the first time that I actually waited until I got to Vegas before I booked it, and I booked it at Main Street Station, and they absolutely fleeced me on the insurance, and it ended up for 4 days costing me, I don't know, $300 or so. Whereas booking it in the UK before I got there, everything included for, was it 4 days we had it? 3 or 4 days? Was £95.
Yeah.
Between us, which was incredibly cheap. And obviously the gas in America is cheap anyway, so...
we put in like $13 and...
It was crazy, wasn't it?
$12 or something. Not very much money for fuel, considering we drove for like 5 or 6 hours
Yeah.
to the
I mean, I know US friends, you moan about the price of your petrol, but believe me, you should try living in the UK. To fill up my Mini would cost, near as damn it, 50 quid.
So Gavin says, nice series, good luck on your last night. So you won 500 on the last night.
Yes, exactly. Thank you, Gavin, and thank you for watching my vlogs, because I know you have been someone who's watched them from the very beginning, so thanks for that.
And when do you think you'll return? I think it's going to be August.
Yeah, August the 4th. See you then.
And will Colin join you again?
Absolutely.
I certainly will, but when, you'll just have to watch this space.
Yes,
to
he'll just pop up, as he tends to. I'll be panning around, and then he'll be waving at the camera. Yeah.
So Adam Good, hi Matt, have you ever run out of your bankroll for the trip, or do you have reserves?
Well, I actually did have 1,000 reserve this time, funny enough. No, I've never spent all my money. I always come back with some. I came back with about $2,300 this time. So although I have, up to sort of $400 or $500 to lose in a day, over the course of a trip, I never lose it. Day after day after day after day after day. One thing I am very good at, and unfortunately I didn't have the opportunity very much this trip, but if I'm ahead, I will not put it all back in. So when I had that swing of up to 950, I put 500 in the safe and took out 450 that evening. So I will not just keep gambling till I lose. Absolutely not. No matter how drunk I am.
So I will just keep gambling until I lose, and I did.
Well, no, you wouldn't there. But if you'd been up Problem is,
I was on
Colin wasn't really up at any time.
No,
were you?
I never really went up.
So you never had the.
single
I mean,
day.
if you'd put 100 and then won, say 150 or 250 up, I don't believe you would end up losing all that down to nothing. But you never had that chance of sort of banking a bit.
I'd go no worse than even money if that
Yeah,
happened,
exactly,
probably.
exactly.
I reckon, except after a drink.
Yeah, well, yes, it does go a bit out the window then. Yeah.
So a question about CES here from Try Els. Is it noticeably busier when CES is on compared to other times of the year you go?
Well, actually, yeah. I mean, we were downtown when CES was on this time, and because it was absolutely throwing it down with rain for
raining.
2 full days, you didn't notice at all. But in previous years, you can certainly notice, particularly if you're sort of at Stratosphere or SLS, or certainly Westgate is heaving during CES, and downtown as well, because some of the strip properties, even the Luxor was trying to charge something like $400 a night for their rooms during CES. So a lot of people will stay downtown because it's a bit cheaper. So yes, you can normally tell, but this time the weather was so bad, I didn't really notice any difference.
So it's quite nice actually being downtown with it raining, because you got it to yourself to some
Yeah,
extent.
no,
didn't
I
you?
agree.
It's a
Yeah,
different experience.
I mean, did you? I mean, one of the things I said to you is that you didn't
enjoyed
really
it.
see all of the bands and the vibe down there because
No.
of the weather. But
I
did
think-
you mind?
No, I think I enjoyed it more because it was slightly less intense.
Yeah.
Especially because we'd already had 7 nights on the strip
Yes.
at this point, so we'd already kind of ruined ourselves, haven't we,
Yes,
to some
yeah,
extent.
to some extent.
University of Turmoil asked us a question.
I love that name, University of Turmoil. That's
Now
brilliant.
then, Matt, he starts.
Now then.
Yeah. I shall be greedy and ask 2 questions. 1, could you discuss your opinions on visiting Vegas in both winter and summer, and the pros and cons of each? And, well, do you want to answer that one?
Yeah, well,
first?
yes. As I said earlier, I think it's. I find it more difficult to stay off the gambling in the winter because you're inside most of the time.
Nothing else to do, really.
There's not no during the day particularly.
Yeah.
There is nothing else to do. I mean, we
could
went
go-
we went to the gym.
You could go to some museums or something if you really wanted
Yes,
to.
but we're not
if you-
really
if you-
museum types, are we?
I'd quite like to go to the Liberace Museum next time.
Yeah, I mean, we played pool.
Yeah, we did pool,
a couple
yeah.
of days. We
Yeah.
went up to Westgate and played pool. We went to Monte Carlo and played a bit of pool. But more often than not, we would go and do something and then carry on gambling afterwards. So
Or
and
before.
or before,
And
yeah.
before.
Whereas in the summer, as I said, you can, I can go out, I can, lay by the pool a bit. There's more options, and I don't tend to gamble as much during the day on the summer trips for sure.
We were literally going back to the rooms and saying, we'll just have another 50 in this machine on the way back to the room.
Yeah.
Weren't we?
No, well that's that's fairly
Unbelievable.
standard.
Yeah, standard
What was the
practice.
second question?
The second question is, now this is interesting since I'm sitting here, what do you think are the pros and cons of visiting solo, with a friend, such as for this trip,
Yeah.
or with a partner?
Yeah, actually, that's a really interesting one. Solo, I wasn't sure when I first did it whether I'd enjoy it, and I think the more you do it, the more you sort of really start enjoying the freedom you have just being there on your own, particularly in Vegas where nothing closes. If I want to go to sleep at 8 o'clock at night and get up at midnight and then go out on the Raz, I can basically do it. The downside of solo trips for me is that I tend to waste a bit. Like, for example, if I'm going to the gym in the morning, I might try and put it off because I'm on my own and I haven't got to really do anything by any particular time. One thing I found with Colin was that we often said we would meet at such and such a time.
Yeah, it
And
always
okay,
happened.
give or take
It always happened
10,
15,
15
20
minutes
or something,
But
yeah.
by and large, we always met at that
Yeah.
time. So you're on more of a.
We were on
You
the
get
go
more
all the
done,
time.
don't you? Yeah.
We didn't really have a lot of downtime.
No, there wasn't
on this
any
trip.
downtime. I'd probably have more downtime on a solo trip than I did with Colin. And as I said, I wasn't sure whether I would find it
Too much.
frustrating or not, and I totally didn't. So that was excellent. In terms of when I go with Suzanne, she's very laid back. She just likes lying in the sun. She likes swimming. She likes reading her book, etc. So I sort of, I join her for a bit, and then I go in and I say, I'll come back out at 1ish and we'll go for lunch, and then so again, it's not dissimilar to a solo trip or a trip with Colin really.
We didn't have sex, though, did we?
We didn't have sex.
That's
No,
the
that's
main
true.
difference.
No, we didn't.
So, Ben,
Yes, that's true.
I love this next question from Ben Coates. Did you enjoy Area 51?
Yes.
Any advice for going there? Oh my God, we so enjoyed that.
That
trip.
was one of my favourite days. That, and actually, funny enough, the Area 51 video has got the least views, probably because it's got an alien in the thumbnail rather than a slot machine. But if you haven't watched that video, I think it's bloody hilarious, and we had an absolute whale of a time that day.
That was in terms of tips. I don't know. All you got to make sure is you've got a full tank of petrol, because
There's
by
nowhere
the
to
time
get fuel.
there's one petrol station, and after that, you're travelling sort of 300 miles or something round trip.
And there's one burger bar.
Yeah,
in that whole
and there's
trip.
one burger bar there, and there's a gas station with no gas, and a bit of tumbleweed.
A trailer park.
And one of the, if you go to the rear entrance of Area 51, it's 7 kilometres there, 7 back. The front entrance, which we never had time to do, that is 20 kilometres there and 20 kilometres back.
We didn't have enough fuel, did we?
No.
We weren't sure that we had enough fuel.
Yeah, so we decided we didn't want to get stranded, so we didn't do
got a
that.
Baptist church there, though.
Yes, they
But
have.
nothing
yeah.
else.
No. Maybe you could be a stag person there in Rachel.
Rachel.
Yeah.
I'd be the only person at the wedding, I think, there. So also from Ben, wanting to go back to Vegas for my 4th trip. Only ever stayed on the strip. Do you recommend staying off strip? Yes.
Yes, absolutely, and I'm not just saying downtown either. I've done. I've stayed at. In Rio's sort of off strip. I think that's a decent property, and you've got Gold Coast and Palms down that road. I've also stayed at Orleans, which is a great slot casino if you're into your slots. I didn't win anything there in August, but I always try and go there once a trip. That's a decent off strip property. And then obviously we went to Green Valley Ranch this trip. We went to the M Resort with that nice Indian man with the burger place.
Great, yeah.
So there's lots of options.
Corey, loved your videos. When you get home, buy some night nurse capsules.
I think this is a
2 capsules.
jet
Is
lag.
this advice?
Yes.
So when you get home, buy some night nurse capsules, 2 capsules a night, and buy some 10 milligrams of melatonin, 1 a night, from Walgreens in Vegas. And
Right.
if you take both for a week, you'll sleep.
You're basically
all
drugged out of
night.
your head.
Yeah, you'll never get up again. Blimey, thanks for that, Connie. This is from.
I do
Wouter.
actually need a good jet lag cure, so maybe I'll try that.
Hi, Matt. In which casino is the best cocktail service?
I think we've mentioned that. Yeah, I mean anywhere but Harrods this trip.
This is Wouter from the Netherlands. Thanks, Wouter.
Oh, hello Netherlands.
Yeah. Just me, Adsna, I think. Hey, Mass, we're trying to go to Vegas in March. Is it necessary to bring? Is it necessary to bring to Vegas, or can we? Oh, right. She wants to know if you can get cash from Vegas from cash machines. You
Oh,
certainly
okay.
can.
Yes, you can.
Yeah, just check with your bank
You did that,
first.
didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I ran out of money, so I just merrily went to the cash point, and it just gave me more. So
Yeah, you've got to be very careful, particularly if you're from the UK, because obviously, depending on what card you use, you get a non-sterling cash fee. You'll then get a ATM advance fee. I've got a Santander credit card, which doesn't charge anything for foreign transactions. So all the Uber rides I put onto that because I won't get charged anything. I've never cashed money in Vegas other than traveller's checks in the past, and I just take enough cash to last. So I don't think it's the most cost effective, and you certainly won't get the best rate. So I'd get your money before you go.
And she also asks, how much can you take through customs without declaring it?
What, cash?
Yeah.
I think it's 10,000.
There you go.
10,000 US, I think. I think all of the things, the declarations you sign, it is whether or not you're taking more than 10 grand out.
So from Dude McCawson, Matt.
Dude McCawson.
Dude McCawson. Must be from Scotland with a name like that.
Yeah.
Matt, have you ever visited one of the gun ranges in Las Vegas? Can you use any gun you please? Do you have any desire to fire a gun? Well, I wouldn't mind doing that actually as an experience.
Yeah, I've got no real. There's one on Flamingo Road, I think, somewhere down there. I don't really have any major need to fire a gun. No. And I've never done it. Sorry, no.
So from Randy Gaines, what is your largest Vegas win and where was it? And do you remember which machine it was on?
Yeah, well, I've already said it's a Golden Nugget 1500, and it was on a 21 Blackjack 21 machine, which is a bit like a top dollar, apart from you have a 21 sign at the end, and but it wasn't a bonus. It was a line hit of 7, and then 2 lots of 5 times pay.
So from Justin, hey Mass, just wondering if you have any particular strategy when it comes to slots.
Yeah, well, actually, yes, I think I do. And actually, it was Suzanne said to me, "You don't think you have a strategy, but you actually do." My base game is quick hits. So often, if I was meeting Colin, he would find me on a quick hit machine to start, right? And the reason for that is because it's either 150 or 250 a bet, so it's fairly cheap. You often get 6 or 7 quick hits, which can win you $80 to $200 quite easily. The bonuses are quite regular, and it gives you a lot of game time. So I normally start on that. After that, I'll then have a couple of $200 or $300 on all the games you've seen me play. If I'm winning, I'll carry on. If I'm losing, I often go back to the quick hits again. And I always play, as I said, Wheel of Fortune at $2 a press, Top Dollar at $2 a press, and again, they're my base games, which I tend to have a reasonable amount of luck in. I don't like the gimmicky games, and for example, Game of Thrones. I think over the course of the last 2 or 3 years, I've put about $500 in that and never had one bonus feature. So I tend to steer clear of the mega themed games like The Simpsons, like Game of Thrones, like Willy Wonka, although I do quite like that one. But so steer clear of the theme games where obviously the percentage payout's going to be lower because they've got to pay a fee to the license holder of the name. You could say the same for Wheel of Fortune, but I just tend to have luck on it.
So, John D, have you had any decent offers or considered staying at the Cosmopolitan?
I haven't had decent offers, but Rob Ghosh has sent me an email where they apparently match M Life offers. So what I'm going to do, I'll be staying at some M Life properties, but in the middle of the two, I will hopefully be getting an offer from Cosmopolitan after I've sent them an email asking whether they'll match my offers with M Life.
So this is from an anonymous Rob Gocious, as it happens. Hello, Rob. Did you win any money on video poker? Is this a rhetorical question, Rob? You're actually there. I don't think we really did we?
Well, I mean, when we went out on the first night, obviously we did 200 each, and we were winning on the slots pretty much all night, and then Rob basically lost what we won on the slots on video poker. Although he is a very good video poker player and had a decent win at one point in the trip.
So there's more. Did you or anyone else lose their cell phone, Rob?
Rob, yes, he kept leaving it, and we kept finding it.
Did you ever find the cocktail waitress in Mandalay Bay?
No, we didn't. Hence the fact we left.
You went back to the Luxor, leaving me behind.
Yes, that's true. Yeah.
Last but not least. Did Colin try to pick up the girls from New York at Johnny Rockets? No, but I did get propositioned by a number of girls. Unfortunately, they wanted $50 to go to my room with me. So I sadly declined.
Actually, we thought Colin was in with Juju.
We did, yeah. And she seemed to really like me.
She definitely
gave her $20.
No, she definitely wasn't a hooker, right? And no. Her and Colin were getting on really well in downtown Grand, and she was a very nice lady.
And the question of money had never come up.
It hadn't. She wasn't. She was just discussing slot strategy and things like that. Yeah. Anyway, to cut a very long story short, it turned out that she was a hopeless gambling addict. And after I'd won a bit on the Zorro game. I said, look, here's 20, go and... She was playing low bets, so I said, here's 20, go and have a play on what you want. I reckon she was back within 8 seconds saying she'd lost it all. So, yeah, she was a bit of a sad case, old Juju, but...
She was a nice girl,
She was a nice girl, yeah. It was what it was, really.
So, Damien, you did great! Exclamation mark.
Thank you, Damien.
I'm looking forward to my Vegas trip in May. I got SLS Hotel and Casino for excellent price, 10 nights. I wonder if the gym is good.
In the SLS, yes. I'm trying to think where it was. I would have definitely been to the gym there. I can't quite recall it, but I think that property is great. The only caveat I would say is that it has terrible dining options there, and because of the odd hours I tend to keep in Vegas, when I wanted something to eat at 2 o'clock in the morning, there was nothing open, so I ended up running over to the McDonald's behind it. So it hasn't got great dining options, but it's a good casino, nice rooms, and the monorail is just outside, so you can get down the strip in 20 minutes flat.
That's true. There's no restaurants there, really, is there? Apart from the food court upstairs.
Are you thinking about the same place?
No, I'm talking about a different place. It doesn't help, does it?
No.
The next part of this
You're talking about Luxor, right?
Yeah, the reason is he then asks, were you in Lux Tower?
Oh, yes, sorry. Yes, I was in the Lux Tower. There is a room tour video in my videos if you look back. It was The room was very modern, a bit poncy, but nice. And yeah, it was a very nice hotel. It was pretty much newly renovated when I stayed there a few years back. But I went in there last January, and I like it. I liked it when it was Sahara, and I say that the location's never been a problem for me because of the monorail, to be honest.
And he goes on and asks, is parking free? Because he's going to be hiring convertible.
Yeah, SLS it is definitely free, yeah. Unless they've changed it over the recent months, but when I was there it was certainly free. I don't think they could charge parking on that north end of the strip, you get no one going.
So, Mark Alson, hi Matt, just curious to know, what's your biggest comp from the casinos in all of the years you've been going?
Well, the biggest comp was when I checked out of Luxor this time, and they
having
basically
already got free
having 3 free nights, and they basically waived the other 4 nights and resort fees to the tune of just under $400. I don't think I've ever got anything better than that, to be honest. But as I said, I'm a newbie when it comes to comps and M Life cards and whatever else.
So, Eto, do you ever play any table games or any slots? I think we might have answered that already.
Yeah, we've answered that already.
How about the Bubble Craps game? One of my favourites. I can sit there for hours with limited bankroll and play. You don't really understand those games.
No, I don't really understand craps, and I did say to Rod to maybe he could teach us one time. I'd quite like to broaden my horizon of games I understand, because I am a bit basic when it comes to it, really.
Chris Harvey, would you not carry on with your vlogs when you get back home, or is it a case of Vegas only?
Yeah, I mean, no, I wouldn't really want to carry on because A, I don't have the time, and B, frankly, I work. I work probably. I'm out of the house at 7 in the morning. I'm back at 7:30 at night. I go to football at the weekends and down the pub, etc. There wouldn't be anything particularly exciting in vlogging, really. So I like the fact I vlog my Vegas trips, and it's. And to be honest with you, after a Vegas trip, you sort of feel a bit vlogged out as well. I don't know how these guys do daily ones for years on end. I mean, and I think because I don't do it all the time, when I do it, I can throw all my energy into it, and I think they come out better because of that. And then you have a bit of a break, and then you go again, 4-6 months down the line. So I'm not sure I'd want to do it every single day. And even the likes of the Trooper, who I love, his vlogs recently have really just been him wandering around Vegas selling his hats to people, and that wasn't what it started out as. And that's the danger when you're pressurised to put a 20-minute vlog out every single day of your life. I think it takes a special person to be able to do that and do it well all the time. In fact, I think it's probably impossible.
So, Kendall, what is your favourite casino in Las Vegas, favourite place to eat, and what is your biggest jackpot? I think
definitely answered all of those.
Question.
Thanks for the question, then, yeah.
Yeah, we've got Doc Firm slot videos. I don't have a question. Oh no, that's not a question. I'll move on. He's just telling you he doesn't have a question. I think I'm saying something else. PJSlots again. What the hell is that wolf on the behind you? That's a very good question. What is that wolf?
Yes, okay. Well, one of my other sort of interests back home is movies, and I've got a cinema room with a lot of Blu-ray discs and DVDs and memorabilia and crap like that in it.
That wolf is the most evil-looking thing I've ever seen, and how he got through security with it
yes, that's true.
I've got no idea.
Yeah, that's very true. But anyway, the story behind that is I'm a fan of Full Moon features, which are American film company run by Charles Band, who did a lot of VHS sort of B movies in the 90s, etc. And this is a prop from one of his films, which I bought on eBay. And I said, they were trying to charge me something like 130 quid customs fee and a whole lot of postage to get it to me in the UK. So I said, I'll tell you what, send it to me at the Luxor, free of any postage, and I won't have to pay the customs charge. And that's what happened, which is why I had it. And I thought I'd put it on the bed behind me.
Terrifying. So, and from Jay, I think this might be the last question in this
I think
string.
that's it, yeah.
Where did you have the most fun? Now, this is a very difficult question to answer. And then he goes on to ask main strip casinos or Old Town Vegas. Thanks.
Maybe you want to answer that one.
Well, I think I enjoyed downtown very much as an area, and I'll be visiting there again. But we had some fantastic nights out on the Strip, didn't we? Particularly the nights we had with Rob, and even with the unnameable character that hung around us for that evening as well.
Exactly, yes.
They were just such funny nights, basically. And that second night as well, where we kept going back to the safe. So I think we had some brilliant nights, but in both locations. I personally preferred the Old Town.
Yes,
area.
absolutely, But I think in terms of nights out and laughs,
it
didn't matter where we were. It was basically all good.
So very funny.
I think there was one other question on there where someone had put as a reply, but I can't remember the person's name. But they asked how long it takes me to edit and upload the videos each day. Well, basically, and I always get asked this in terms of what I use to film the vlogs. I just upgraded from a Samsung S7 to a Samsung Note 8, and I think having looked back at these vlogs on YouTube, I think the quality is way better on this camera than anyone I've had before. And I use the Power Director app, which basically means that you take all of your clips and you can sort of drag them into a movie, if you like. Rearrange the order, add sort of the date, which I always tend to do. Insert my tune at the beginning, and then you can sort of fade in and out, and all of that sort of stuff. The editing is minimal. It probably takes me. I tended to wake up in the morning, spend 20 minutes just making sure it was all okay, watch it through once, and then when I had a snooze in the afternoon, I would then upload while I was asleep. So I don't think it was overly intrusive in terms of the trip. I don't know if...
No, not at all.
I mean, it didn't really affect what we were doing. It was just part
of what we did.
Absolutely. And it didn't, once you get quite good at it, it doesn't really, or used to the application, it doesn't take long. So
2 more questions. The first one's from Gary Harrison. Hi Matt, great vlog as always. Loved seeing Colin enjoying himself too. You look like you're having such a great time.
We did.
A question for the Q&A, if you get a chance. Can you explain the max bet strategy, and also which slots are a big no-no to stay clear?
I think I've already answered that actually, in terms of my strategy with the quick hits and the Wheel of Fortune and the top dollar. So it was the question a few back, and that's pretty much what I do.
And Mark Andel, hi Matt, my wife Cynthia is looking forward to your Q&A. Here's a question.
Hi Cynthia.
Hi Cynthia. You seem to like 80s British bands
and
acts. He does. Do you like the Psychedelic Furs? And I wonder if they're playing at Vegas at all.
Actually, Psychedelic Furs weren't huge in the UK. Did they do the Pretty in Pink song, or am I imagining it? I think they did. I'm not a major fan. I don't dislike them. They're sort of alternative, which is the sort of music I like. I don't know whether they've ever played Vegas, but I always look for 80s bands in Vegas whenever I come. So hopefully there'll be a few in August. I particularly liked the Psychic TV pool party last year. So I hope there's another gig by a pool, because that was a good laugh. But anyway, so I think is all of the questions. Thank you to Colin for joining me once again. We had an absolute blast, as I'm sure you're aware, and I do hope he joins me again. I'm sure he will. If not, I will shove him on the plane myself. Anyway, I will catch you in about 6 months' time. For all of you who have got Vegas trips coming, I mean, there's a number of you there now, I think, or certainly in the last couple of weeks. My social media timelines are full of people always in Vegas. So if you've got one coming up, have a great time. I'm sure you'll message me your big wins that I never seem to get, because I get a load of those as well. But I will catch you again in the future. And take care, and thanks for watching.